In today's video, I'll be talking to you about email deliverability and specifically everything that you need to know in order for your emails to land into the inbox rather than the junk, promotion, or spam folders. More than that, we'll talk about everything about building out an email infrastructure that is robust and that enables you to scale your sending volumes to the hundreds of thousands of millions of emails after you understand the main foundational principles behind email deliverability. Now, what better way to start this video than to start with a passionate rant about why I think email deliverability tools and email deliverability landscape on LinkedIn is an absolute mess. And 99% of the reason is because a lot of email deliverability tools will give inboxes and domains for free to folks like myself. They will also pay for sponsored posts for LinkedIn thought leaders in return for LinkedIn thought leaders such as myself to basically write LinkedIn posts talking about the importance of email deliverability, talking about the importance of random crap like IP rotation or DNS settings or like DMARC configuration or random other crap like this, which no normal person actually cares about. Instead, they just provide you with this random template that's fully AI generated, and they get each creator to basically just add their own bit of spice, a bit of a twist to it before basically just posting it in order to get as much reach and exposure on LinkedIn as possible. So I think that's 99% of the problem. That's why there is so much noise on LinkedIn. Every single email inbox provider, every single email deliverability tool out there pretty much has the same promises on their websites. It's the same kind of stuff where it's like, oh, we help you reach the most people. We help you get over 80% like inbox placement or whatever random stuff like that. So if I were you, just treat it like a commodity. I'll walk you through a couple of the options of like some tools that I use myself. Hence, I trust a lot more. But 99% of the tools that you discover through your LinkedIn feed, I'll be very, very skeptical of because they're all, at the end of the day, just a commodity. It's the same way of buying domains, warming up domains, and basically just connecting them to an email automation tool, as we'll discover later in today's video. But yeah, just a passionate rant on this is probably a bit of an overstatement, but realistically, I just think they're all very, very misleading. And I would not really bother reading through their websites or anything of that sort. I would just basically just choose one of the tools that I talk about later on, which once again, you can choose one of those, or you can choose one of the ones that you've tried in the past and you were happy with. Let's talk about the 5 things that you need to know, first of all, about email deliverability before we can even talk about the more technical stuff. The first thing is that you should never be sending cold emails, specifically cold emails, from your main name@company.com email address. The reason for that is if you send cold outreach from your main email inbox, at some point you may be marked as junk, spam, or as a promotion email. Before you know it, your emails to investors, your loved ones, your colleagues, whoever it is, will start getting stuck in junk. For that reason, never send cold outreach from your main email inbox. Now, that means that you need to buy similar looking domains, because if you send emails from your main company domain, like company.com, for instance, your email reputation will be hurt, even if it's another inbox on the same domain. So for that reason, let's say your current domain is coca-cola.com, just buy a similar looking domain like coca-cola.com, and this will mean that you can send the emails from a similar looking domain instead. When you buy similar looking domains, buy 2 to 3 inboxes per domain, because typically that's what they recommend for cold email sending. And that will mean that you can send out a lot of emails basically, right? So instead of from one inbox, you can probably send X amount of emails. From 2 inboxes, you can obviously send a lot more. So I recommend 2 to 3 inboxes per domain. If you're wondering how many domains you need to buy, how many inboxes you need to buy, you need to reverse engineer the numbers. I'll be sharing this underneath as the top link in the description down below. Basically, you need to know how many people you want to be emailing. So let's say if we want to email 10,000 people, or let's say we want to email 1,000 people and we want to send them 2 emails each. For that, we need 4 inboxes and basically 2 different domains, right? So all you need to do here is just plug in how many people you want to email, how many emails you want to be sending to them, and then based on that, it will tell you how many domains and how many inboxes you would likely need. Moving on. So I assume by now you already understand that you need to buy new domains. You understand that you need to set up 2 to 3 inboxes per domain. And more than that, you can understand how many inboxes and domains you need to buy based on this calculator. So next up, let's talk about warming up each inbox. I'm sure you've heard about the concept of email warm-ups before, but it's basically the process of taking emails out of the junk, promotions, and spam folders and putting it into the inbox instead. So it's like an automation that just automatically just improves your warm-up reputation so that your emails end up in the inbox. So for that reason, all you would need to be doing is, as as soon as you buy your domains, as soon as you then create your inboxes, you'll just click on connect mailbox inside of your email automation tool of choice, be it Smart Lead, Instantly, like Growth Machine, Lemlist, whatever you use. It's the same thing. You'll click on connect mailbox. There will then be an option to upload a CSV. So you will upload a CSV file with all these inboxes. And then over here, you would just basically select all of the domains, and then you can connect them to a warm up. So there will be a button in the top right corner here which says like connect to warm up, and then you can do it that way. And then the main thing is you need to leave it to warm up the emails for 2 weeks at the very least, right? So, and the way that you track your warm up reputation is through this percentage thing over here. So it has to be at 100% before you start any sort of cold outreach. So step number 4 naturally is warming up your each inbox for 14 days before even considering sending out the emails. Now, as soon as your emails are warmed up and your inboxes are warmed up, you at most should be sending 20 to 30 warm up emails per day. So not to be confused with the cold emails. So per inbox every day, you can max out 50 emails in total, right? If you're sending 50 emails, 30 of them should be warm up emails to make sure that all of your emails automatically get pushed into the inbox. And then the other 20 emails will be cold emails. So think about it as 20 to 30 emails are going to be warm up, and then another 20 will be cold emails every day, right? And then now let's just talk about some of the other stuff, which once again, this is where there is a lot of confusion amongst some folks that are new to email deliverability as a concept. There are basically 3 types of email inbox providers. There is Gmail. Think about Gmail like Nike, like Adidas, right? Like think about it as like a big brand. Everyone has a Gmail account. It's the safest way to go about things. And similar with Outlook or Microsoft, they're also really credible accounts because obviously every second person has a Microsoft or an Outlook email as well. So Gmail, Outlook, and Microsoft, all the top inbox providers, right? Everyone can universally agree on that. However, there are also SMTP providers, and SMTP providers are half the price of Outlook, Microsoft, or Gmail. And for context, Outlook and Microsoft is the same thing, right? It's like Microsoft Outlook. So compared to these 2 providers, SMTP is just half the price most of the time. So if you ever see some inboxes that are half the price of Gmail and Outlook, the chance is because it's SMTP. And to simplify things, like I tested SMTP providers against Outlook, against Gmail over the last 2 years for my agency, I just found that SMTP providers are basically dodgy burner emails most of the time. So yes, there are some credible tools like MailForge, for instance, that I used for a while, and their SMTP accounts are better than the others. But still, overall, I would just recommend for you to not reinvent the wheel and just pay a bit more for Gmail and Outlook, and you would probably not regret that. So moving on, let's just talk about some of the options that you have. The first option that you basically have is you can buy your domains as you do already, be it on GoDaddy, Namecheap, Porkbun, one of these tools. You just buy the domains on there. Then you can connect them to a tool which will then keep the reputation of the domains high. And typically these tools give you like a service as well. So in other words, there is some person on the back end that tracks the actual email deliverability. So if your email inbox disconnects or something of that sort, it's on that person to fix it. However, these tools come at a premium cost in most cases. So for instance, there is like Hypertide, there is Aeroscale as well. And these are some options that we explored for our agency, but this just turned to be way too expensive because yes, you have the benefit of someone managing your email deliverability for you. You just basically pay for that problem to go away, but it is a bit more expensive. So you could go down this route and just basically buy your domains, import them into one of these 3 tools, and then just have some random dude just manage it on the back end for you, right? That's option A. Or option B, you can just buy the domains and inboxes from the same platform. This is what we do right now. That's why I did a video on PrimeForge a couple of weeks ago or a couple of months ago where I just gave like an honest tutorial and an honest review of the platform. I use PrimeForge all the time. It's really good. Premium Inbox is pretty good as well. And these are not the kind of tools that get all the shout outs on LinkedIn. That's why I'm kind of annoyed because on LinkedIn, I just feel like on LinkedIn, a lot of tools just get random shout outs because they have a bit more of a marketing budget. So I would, if you're on a budget, I would recommend option B, which is just buying domains and inboxes from the same platform, be it PrimeForge and Premium Inboxes. Both of these tools provide you with Outlook and Gmail accounts. And then obviously, as I already mentioned a couple of times, you calculate the sending volumes, you buy the domains and inboxes using the right tool. So be it PrimeForge or whatever, you connect them to the warm up inside of the email automation tool. You set them to 20 warm up and 20 cold emails per day per inbox, and set a reminder to start sending emails in 14 days, no earlier. So that's basically it. You don't really need to know anything else. And I know there are a bunch of people that will tell you some other stuff as well on email deliverability. Maybe the only other thing worth mentioning is the fact that you, first of all, never need to send links inside of emails, because if you send a link, your email is more likely to be stuck in junk or spam folders or promotion folders. Don't attach any images. Don't add any attachments to emails as well. Those are some basics. On top of that, don't have like a hyperlinked email signature. That's a common issue as well a lot of the time. So 99% of it, like, don't send videos. All of that is common sense in my opinion. But in a nutshell, I hope this will be a nice little guidepost to email deliverability. I will make sure to add some videos here of how to use some of the tools that I use right now, but worth noting that I don't have any direct association with any of these tools. I'm just sharing it because I'm tired of seeing a lot of random promotional stuff on LinkedIn going around. Because especially, like, I don't have any problem with people making money from promoting one of these email deliverability tools. What I have a problem with is when people talk about like random concepts like IP rotation or like proxies or DMARC or like DNS settings and stuff like this, which, like, if you ask them outside of the LinkedIn world, if they care about it, they'll tell you like, nah, it does not, like, no, it's such a small micro detail that no one needs to hear about it. And you could just spare a couple of like characters in your LinkedIn post by just not mentioning these tiny little details. Anyways, that's that. I hope that was useful. If it was, then by all means, go check out the guide down underneath